make their way out. As I said, we will have 15 minutes. And during those 15 minutes, I'd like to invite two successful scale-ups to join me on stage. We have Paulin Desmontants, founder and CEO of Drivy. Are you here? Please come and let's give him a round of applause. And we have Damien Bon, CEO of Stuart. Please join us as well. We have a bit of motion in the house, judges leaving, partners coming up. Have a seat. Nice to meet you. We were supposed to have also the co-founder of Taxify, who had to cancel last minute. Hi, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, in 15 minutes from now, we will know who the winners are. These are critical moments, so we will talk basically until our judges come back. But we won't give them too much time. We're going to try the two microphones and see how it works. I'll give you this one, and I'll give you that one. And I'd like to ask each of you to tell us a little bit about your scale-up, your success story. You've already made it. I'd also like to mention, yeah, that you also agreed to be part of the prize family, so that when the 10 startups, or 11 startups actually, including the Swiss one, will travel around Europe. Yeah, can we have some order in the room, please? Those 11 startups will travel now around Europe. They will go and present their technologies in different cities, and you agreed to be kind of big brothers. You're not going to follow on their phone calls, but you're going to be big brothers that are going to hold their hands and help them when they're in need. But maybe before you tell us about the kind of advice that you would potentially give them, tell us how you made it. Let me start with you.
So hi, I'm Paulin. I'm the founder at Drivy. So at Drivy, we're building a network of shared self-service cars in Europe's main cities. So our target customers are car-free people who move by public transport, bike, and etc. inside the city during the week, typically, and who can locate a car nearby within walking distance on Drivy and open the car with their mobile and then get going for a few hours or a few days to get basically outside the city. And we crowdsource our fleet of cars, both from private people. This is where we come from originally, so the peer-to-peer model, where private people offset their cost by renting it on Drivy. And also now, as we start really scaling much faster, we have businesses joining the platform and professional fleets also joining Drivy and doing car sharing on Drivy. And basically, our mission is to build something so convenient and ubiquitous that we have a much better product than car ownership, because it's super convenient, walking distance, and then you don't need a car anymore. And we plan to be one of the handful of apps that can do any use case to move you by car, and especially with connected and autonomous cars, we think the market can grow 100 times bigger.
Okay.
So then, in terms of startup, I launched the company in 2010 out of Paris, and then we grew to 6 countries. We are now a bit more than 100 people, with offices in Paris, London, Barcelona, and Berlin. And yeah, we first had the peer-to-peer phase, where we build the proximity, then really the technological phase, where we build the self-service access to cars, and now it's all about scaling. With a lot of countries, a lot of the marketplace accelerates with professionals also joining the platform, which gives another momentum.
So you're still growing.
Yeah, and hopefully we will.
Okay, Damien, tell us a little bit about Stuart.
So Stuart is an on-demand delivery platform connecting on one side businesses, on the other side couriers, with basically the view of accelerating the way goods are transported in cities. With businesses, we work with a wide variety of verticals. We essentially work with food restaurants, grocery players, people like Carrefour, Franprix, Monoprix, Sainsbury's, Dia in Spain, and as well as fashion retailers, sport retailers, brands like Decathlon. And we allow them basically to offer same hour, same day service by connecting them in real time to a fleet of independent couriers. So we started in 2015. We are now operating in 3 countries in Europe, France, Spain, and the UK. We are opening more and more cities every month. We are now in 15 cities, in 30 cities by the end of the year. And yeah, that's essentially Stuart.
Okay. Do you already know what kind of advice you would want to give them? Because we heard before by some of the advisors like the Boston Consulting Groups and VID, but you guys did it yourself, so you can really feel how they felt back then. You're not giving an advice to someone who's going through a different path, but you've done it, you felt it. Maybe tell us, how does it feel to be them tonight? Have you done similar competitions when you were in your earlier stages?
I was much less connected, and I didn't have this kind of structure. So I think it's first, it's a great chance to have such all the incubators, all the money investors. The ecosystem in Europe is much better, and this kind of prize is a great initiative to bring everybody together and give visibility to startups. So I wish I had this back when I started.
And Damien, do you have an idea what kind of advice you would want to share?
No, I think that mobility is very, I mean, a lot of things have been said today, but mobility is a very particular space to innovate in the sense that you don't create new mobility needs or desires, You don't change the origin or destination of goods or people. You'd rather change the way goods or people are transported. So I think the hook of any entrepreneur in the mobility space is around, lowering the cost of transport, bringing more convenience or more safety, as we've heard today. But I really believe that if there is one real competitive advantage, it's around sustainability. I think we need to lower the cost of our planet, because by doing that, first, I think users are more and more sensitive to the fact that there are huge potential negative consequences associated to climate change, but also focusing on sustainability and lowering the use of resource mean ultimately an economic competitive advantage as well, because energy prices are going to rise no matter what, because we are more and more users and more inhabitants in cities. So I think focusing on sustainability is the only basically long-term competitive advantage in the mobility space. So I would really encourage everyone to focus on sustainability. The second advice I would have is definitely, we talk about involving...
Sorry, that would be an advice for maybe the future startups, but for those who exist, they're not going to change their technology. So those are already on their path.
No, well, try to identify how technology, again, can bring, again, from point A to point B, lower the amount of resource that is used. So, and the second advice would be involve all stakeholders in the value chain. We heard that today, involve public authorities, involve governments. But I think the tricky thing is that, even though we've heard, plenty of good things on, yes, we're going to change the regulatory framework, etc., I don't think governments are still ready to hear about, to change the legislation based on PowerPoints. So, at the end of the day, you just need to act, involve them early, but, do your half, defend your beliefs, show that there is, product, a need, and in parallel involve, the legislator, but it's going to take time, and they will only react once you're big. So I'm not saying, you should do things completely as, and not trying to follow rules. I'm just saying involve, but the fact that the discussion with public authorities, they take time. So in the meantime, don't wait. Again, defend your belief. If we all have one belief, I think, is that we need to change the way goods or people are transported, again, to have a more sustainable mobility. And I think, government will, again, then go in your direction. But, if you just wait for them to change the legislation, it's a chicken and egg situation. It's not going to...
You're talking a lot about the public authorities, and there are many of them represented here in the room tonight. I mean, what are the big expectations that you have as an entrepreneur from those public decision makers at whether local, national, or European level? We're in Brussels, we're in the capital of Europe.
Well, I think the main challenge, again, is that, technology opens new areas. It gives potential chance to new players to play in the mobility field, but you have existing players. and existing players. Mobility is a huge industry, so you just can't also regulate in favor of new technological company without taking into account the interests of the entire industry in the mobility space. So I think it's again, everyone should sit around the table saying, here's an opportunity of partnering big industrial groups with small startups. How do we make sure in being understanding that basically the future is going to be challenging on the environmental side, to see what solution we can bring together for a better world. I don't think we should oppose, again, technological players, startups to industry groups. I think the interest in combining the saying that we both need to change, again, the way mobility is currently tackled in Europe.
Paulin, you wanted to add
Yeah, we have a huge, I think there is a huge barrier in Europe to having more scale-ups is to have a more uniform regulations generally. So
across
if I take,
the EU, you mean?
Yeah, across the EU. So if I take just in our case, we cannot operate in Italy because you are not allowed to have a car that is both private and rented. We were sued in Germany, we were sued in Austria. So that's just for the right to exist. Then
because of differences of laws and
of
and
laws
regulations.
around registrations of cars. Then around fiscality, we have one discussion. We have 10 discussions per country with each of the ministries and commissioners and etc. And it's a pure nightmare. So even though we are a 100 people company, we need to hire public affairs people already very soon, which is way too soon for a company of our size. So all what's around the sharing economy is still, there is debate and content again and again, but honestly no clear path to make it simple. And then on parking space in cities, we also have huge hurdles here. So really scaling, when I compare to our Chinese and US competitors, we do have really much harder hurdles to pass to be able to be a European scale-up.
Because the market is still fractured.
It's extremely fragmented in terms of regulations.
Okay, I think I see Karima in the room. Is that a sign that you are ready to continue? Okay, I'm seeing some yeses. But before we continue and announce the winners, I invite Karima to join us because she would like to give you another special mention award for European scale-ups that have made it. Karima, are you ready to join us? So congratulations for this special award. Taxify is not here with us tonight. Unfortunately, they had to cancel in the last minute, but they will receive their prize. You have mics here. Karima, don't break the award. Okay, don't get too comfortable. You're giving the award, and then we're going to announce the winners. I'm also nervous. Okay, so we're taking a picture with the awards, and
Non, c'est Stuart. Ah oui. Trop d'émotion. Okay. Attention, musique.
congratulations, music. Our queen of startups have asked for music. We'll give her music, and we will congratulate them. We have Mathieu Collet, who will represent Taxify to take the award for Taxify. So thank you for taking their award. You can maybe join us for another 1 second for the picture. Karima, restez avec nous pour la photo avec monsieur. On va prendre la photo et on va continuer. Okay, thank you very much, and congratulations to the winners for scaling up and for your award tonight. I also want to be in this picture. Wow. All right. Thank you very much. Karima and Frédéric, you're staying.